All right, welcome everybody to Computer as Frick episode episode number 25. I'm John Boydnott and my lovely co-host.
I am Ann Ahola Ward. Welcome. We're staying
It's great to
alive.
have it's great to there's just so much going on. There's always
25.
this is number 25 is alive and yeah, we've done 25 of these. When did we start doing Computer AF? It wasn't the beginning of this year, right? It was last year, the beginning.
Technically, like 10 years ago, when we did it on Facebook Live, when it was also
Right.
alternatively known as Perfect Hair and Friend.
Oh,
Um,
I miss Dan. Dan Purett.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that was when we did it live and took comments from people, and it got weird. Um, I mean, no jive, 25. I keep wanting to think of a fun rhyme. We thrive, computer AF 25.
I'm down with it. I mean, we're never going to not have a never-ending supply of internet, garbage stories that end up in the basement of the insane asylum that is the internet. We're never going to not have that. We're never not going to have seedy characters to talk about who are somehow worth $500 billion.
For those of you
Yeah.
who don't know, he's talking about Elon, clearly.
I was hoping to stay under the radar, but oh well. No, yeah, I mean, there's just a whole lot going on this week, and even a story from a week or two ago that I still wanted to talk about, but I know you have opinions on. And we should start off with you appeared on the Tech Strong show today. Tell us about the Tech Strong show, also briefly too, just because not everyone knows what that is, and you appear on it
Yes.
regularly.
Yes,
So,
with our old friend John Swartz.
is it his
I
show or is it a different somebody else's show?
Well, he writes for them and he's a regular on the show. He writes
Oh,
for
great.
TechStrong.
Okay.
Yeah, so TechStrong is an analyst firm that has a number of sites. They gave me this lovely Yeti, which I very much appreciate,
Ooh.
and it's just fun to talk with other experts in their realms about different fun technical topics. Sometimes not fun, sometimes sad and serious.
Mm.
But I've learned a lot doing it. It's kept me sharp. It's also just kind of fun to be up on the news. And so they're an analyst firm that has a bunch of content sites dedicated to different content areas, DevOps, security. And so it's an honor to be invited onto the show so regularly. And it's definitely been like good for me to do while TV's been harder to book because,
Mm.
world traumas and whatnot. uh those preempt on national news often preempts local programming when there's like garbage fires everywhere and dumpster fires
Well,
politically. And
another thing that happened with regard to your appearing on the different local stations is that, well, local TV news is struggling here in California. I don't think I got a chance to talk to you about this, but there's Salinas, which is south of San Francisco. It's near Monterey. It's in that market, so it's a small market, but it's like a small market that's like right up against the big San Francisco Bay Area market. And one of the stations just like deleted its not deleted it, but like fired everyone. Yeah, deleted. Might as well just say deleted their whole news staff, so they no longer have a newsroom. I think it's Coin Koin Salinas. I think I could be wrong, but
mm-hmm.
they fired the whole news staff there, and it's like,
Is it robots?
I mean, they're just not going to have local news. They're going to there is another Monterey slash Salinas station that's like ABC, not CBS or whatever, and so that one will still continue on, but it's the only one left. And the San Francisco station that is the same affiliate, like CBS or whatever, as the one that died, is saying, "Oh, we'll cover the Monterey, we'll cover Salinas," and what does that mean? Like one or two stories a day for that market? Anyway, the whole point
Yeah,
is local news is kind of going like going down the drain a little bit, and
I
that's
mean, that's really sad.
Yeah, it is. It just means, I mean, I wish I could say I'm a better expert on it. I mean, I did work in local news for a while, but like at this point, it's like I've been working in Silicon Valley and in tech for so long that I sort of have lost a little bit of connection there. But I mean, the basic thing I can say is that it's just people being less informed and not having the knowledge in order to make, good decisions about who they elect, for instance, or even a misperception on how much crime there is in their community, that kind of stuff. I mean, I feel like that is an issue. The bottom line is just local news wasn't or isn't making enough money to sort of keep it in place. So the people who own these stations aren't really necessarily wanted to keep their newsrooms because it's too much of an expense. Um, and a lot of maintenance and upkeep for those departments. But anyway, yeah, sorry to go down that rabbit hole, but it's basically
Well,
like along with what you're saying that it's tougher to sort of get booked because these newsrooms are going away or starting to.
and a lot of them have to pipe in syndicated national stories
Yeah.
instead of human interest stories or how-to tips, like stuff, the segments that I do. But it was kind of reminded me of what you were mentioning, reminding me of that article you'd sent me about Business Insider and their AI guidelines. I thought that was
Yeah.
what was your hot take on that?
Yeah, basically the gist of that story is that Business Insider um, is has released or allowed to be released or leaked or whatever the rules for their journalists in their newsroom, and essentially the journalists can use AI tools to draft their stories. Now, basically, and it's specifically in there. Hey, they can use these tools. These are tools they can use. Eventually, they will have to, not eventually, but I mean, in pretty quick order, they're going to have to put it in their own words. It's not going to, be exactly what the AI came up with, but my thought is that this is been going on for a while. In writing for sporting news, um, I don't think there are too many writers who are doing that. I think, actually, I think there probably are plenty, but it's not well known. So, regardless, leave sporting news out of it. I know that in that sports side of things, there are publications where there are writers who are pumping out stuff using AI, and I don't think it's happening at the sporting news, but I know there are publications where that is happening. There are some writers who, for a long time, have been pumping out stories using AI, and so much so that there have been investigative reports. They'll take the stories that these people write, they'll put them in AI detectors. The AI detectors will come back and basically say, yeah, this is like 98% of AI. So this has been going on for a long time. But I think that it's good to put a little bit of sort of structure around it and say, okay, look, you can use it to come up with your story ideas or what the story looks like, but you're going to have to put your own spin on it, make it your own words, you make it yours, and that's the key. If the writer is putting it in their own words and making it theirs, then okay, so be it. That seems to be where things are going. I'm not a huge fan of it, but and who knows how much of a slippery slope this is. But yeah, so that's my take. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm with you in that there's a general just sort of sadness to all of this, in that it just feels like a sad thing that's happening to all of us, right? In many different areas where there's a feeling of being replaced or there's a feeling of whatever. And I understand that they had to make a policy because it probably was just not clear to people what they were allowed and not allowed to do. I created an AI policy for my writing, the writers we work with, a while ago because I was getting obvious ChatGPT posts that I was like actively having to say, I know this is AI. Like
Mm.
the detection tools are pretty good. So, we now have to scan every single piece and create a policy. So, creating the policy itself doesn't sadden me. The fact that this is where we are and we're accepting this as content is the sad part to me. I mean, this is something we're seeing in other industries too. Like the Citigroup now is having to require 175,000 of their employees across the globe to complete AI prompt training, um, essentially to keep their jobs. Like this is something that happened, but what I think really happened is that um, they'd been cited for skill gaps in data, like data breaches, and there's
Mm,
sort of like a regulatory pressure there, whereas people handling your financial data have to have a certain level of skill, whereas apparently we don't value journalism the way we used to, which is which has been on the decline for a long time. I mean, I remember the heyday of like all these independent, like the Heavy and Gigaom and like all these like
mm,
rogue pubs, and like just a really upset, well qualified journalist could stand on their own and people would follow them.
yeah.
We still have that. We just call them influencers.
Yeah. It's also kind of
Um,
moved into Substack too, right? Like there's the Substacker.
yeah.
There's also one called Ghost, I guess.
Oh yes,
although-
yes. Some people had issues with how Substack handled whatever there was an issue, and people didn't like it. So then it spawned another one. And I mean, I think it's great. Let's have competition, right?
yeah, good.
But I think the area where we're seeing AI is like, it's like the cat's stomach that you're petting, and
Ooh,
you're in the danger zone,
ooh,
and
yeah,
then you get to the no touchy, no
yeah,
touchy, I
yeah.
claw you. That was Tilly Norwood.
Talons. It's the talons,
Yeah, the talent, you got the murder mittens, Tilly
especially because
Norwood.
if you remember, back when I lived in Redwood City, I had Tigger, and
I do remember that.
you're like,
Yeah,
you need to go check out your digs and Tigs, and I'm like, oh, that's a good one. But yeah, he's an outdoor cat, and he would just like, I'm diving into bric-a-brac. Well, we can dive back out real quick, but yeah,
I
he
mean,
was an
it's more fun to talk about cats than it is about AI. Let's be honest.
let's be honest. I was talking to Francisco earlier today briefly, and essentially all I did was I sent him a picture of something, of some political thing. Let's be honest, and then he sent me back a picture of a grumpy black cat going like that, and then I sent him that same picture I sent of you, not of you, but to you. I think I sent it to you from
Yes.
yesterday, my walk yesterday when I ran across a black cat, and he was like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I'm just walking, dude." But anyway, yeah, I sent that picture. Anyway, yeah. So yeah, cats are fun to talk about. What were we talking about again?
I was saying that if
At least you
if
kept track.
AI was a cat's belly,
Yes,
and
yes.
we're
Talons. Yeah.
navigating the zones of touchy no touchy, Tilly Norwood was very firmly the murder mittens point of
Oh,
AI,
Tilly
because
Norwood. What a
Tilly
horror.
Norwood, yes, Hollywood is
Tilly is a
raging.
cat's name. I lived with a woman in Santa Barbara 20 years ago. She had two cats, one of which was named Tilly. You don't name a human Tilly, do you? Do you know any humans named
Well, she's
Tilly?
not human, as I think the whole crux of the argument. Maybe
Yeah.
the Tilly part of it is what inspired such anger. But basically, SAG-AFTRA, Natasha Lyonne, you name the big celebrities, they're panning it. And basically, Tilly Norwood is a AI created actor that they were saying that they put it out and said, hey, this is, agents are looking to talk to this person and agencies want to represent her. I don't know if that was true, but just the hint of it got everyone's heckles up. And it essentially was a sort of a lightning rod for people to sort of draw a line of demarcation of where AI stops, like
Right.
where it needs to stop in the content creation pipeline. This also blew up, I believe, because it happened and it dovetailed right with OpenAI dropping Sora 2.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the video generator social app that lets users remix clips, um, they can drop their own likeness into AI made scenes. And so this launch has sparked a frenzy, and people are actually reselling their codes. Like, people are charging money for their invite codes. It reminds me of like the early days of Gmail, where everyone was like gaming to get an invite to Gmail, which dates me so hard. But it's different than the other platforms that have AI generated content, in that the cameo feature is your face. You can make content in seconds with your own face. And that is kind of exciting and horrifying all in one.
One thing I
But
noticed,
yeah,
I saw my friend's version. His name is Tom. I forgot his last name though, but I guess he's just a colleague, not a friend, more of an associate. Whatever. I knew him for a
I
while
mean, are
back.
you questioning that friendship now that you can't recall his
He's a
last
nice
name?
guy. He's a nice guy, but I lost interest once he had girlfriends and everything. I'm like, okay, it's all good, Tom.
Oh,
But
friend. Okay, got it.
yeah,
Got it.
that's partly true. But when I looked at his Sora videos, he had several of them. Him like with historical figures, him going to Starbucks, and I'm like, it was weird how it would sort of like look like his face, and then suddenly it didn't look like his face. It looked like some random other person. Then back to his face again. It would sort of float in and out of looking like him, or it would make him look older than he was, or maybe now since it's been 15 years, he just is older. But yeah, no, it looked cool.
I'm putting my head on the bodies of animals, and
Yeah.
I got an invite today, and I am going to completely use it for things that I enjoy. But I think, just to crystallize all this as a pundit and do the news thing, I would say the two things together, Tilly Norwood and Sora, sort of
Mm.
added up to a toxic brew of, AI has turned Hollywood into a hall of mirrors. And, the star of the story, everything can be synthetic. And this is going to create a whole new level of slop.
It's so much slop. It's just, it's all you can do to just sort of keep a leash on just regular questions for, okay, Claude, help me make a brief for one of my writers. And then it's just like, even in the same, it'll just make mistakes that it should know that it doesn't need to make, or, eat. Yeah. Bottom line, the slop is everywhere. Slop is going to continue.
You make it a slop. I know I'm going to get canceled for that accent, but
You
it's like
make
I'm
it a
trying to
slop.
I'm trying to do like
Whatever.
a Chef Boyardee TV.
Yeah. No, understand. I got a I
Maybe we
it's
censor that, but yeah.
there I got a there are people. I get probably about 10 to 15 pitches every day from random PR folks, which is good in a way because sometimes I can use that to my advantage in terms of coming up with interviews for stories that are coming up, which is great. But I got one not today, but in the last couple of days of somebody talking about how one, slop cleaner upper is going to be a new job description in the future. And so it's a perfect example in their pitch. They're like, it's a perfect example of how it was always said that there would be, AI would get rid of jobs, but it would also bring us jobs too. And this is a job that it will bring us: slop picker upper, slop fixer, whatever. That's not
Slop
what it's
farmer,
slop. Yeah, right. Slop farmer.
slop curator.
Oh God, it's getting worse and
Yeah,
worse.
and we'll swap that in for like park rangers and you know,
Will you slot in the slop?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I think it's just sort of eye opening. It was almost like, did they plan this? Those two things happening in the same week, but it's
Mm.
particularly eye opening as to how fast this is evolving. I think that there's a lot of ways there's a lot of directions you can take it, and it can be scary and whatever, but it could also make things more interesting because we can get what we want. We can have more customizations. I mean, I'm just trying to like bright side
Mm.
this.
No, I mean it's
I
sort of it's like the Ed Zitron rabbit hole. Ed Zitron is a guy who used to work in the Bay Area, lives someplace else now. He's also a tech pundit. He's very I want to say anti AI. That's not accurate, but he's essentially basically said that we're in a giant AI bubble, and the money's not really. There's so much money being thrown at this thing, and there's not really money that's being made. So
Yeah.
when is this thing going to pop, or is it ever going to make money? What's going to happen? And his opinion is that it will pop. So yeah, I mean you got to wonder about that. With
Or
I don't
when
have.
do we just turn into this? When do we just turn into
Yeah,
this
no, I
guy?
saw that. I was just like, maybe I'll and hello, I can
I
be
know.
art.
I was trying to. Yeah, I was trying to do it too.
Look the look on his
Maybe
face.
this is where we're heading.
Yeah,
Which
I mean,
I
bones coming
I
out of our chest and
I
whatnot.
have to be honest. This is taking me. I'm spiritually in the bric-a-brac zone now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we covered enough of what's happening, and I think that
Look, we've done enough adult talk. Yeah.
we've done enough adult talk. Um, and it's time to talk about what's. Well, I think that each of the serious adult talk topics that we were talking about was sort of like pushing into bric-a-brac naturally for us anyway. If we're sort of like dying to.
Absolutely. Well, the thing I've been dying to talk to you about is that the other night I saw it was in the top 10 on whatever platform, maybe Netflix, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Idiocracy.
Oh, really?
So I put it on as a joke, and I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Hey Val, look at this. Remember this old stinker?" Like I don't remember ever thinking it was that great of a movie. Like ah ha ha. And then as I started watching it, I was like, "They did what now? Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh God."
Electrolytes. Crave it.
With electrolytes. Yeah, and then I just
Yeah.
was like, "Oh my God." First of all, perfect use of Dax Shepard
Yeah.
as like
Yeah.
the oaf. Luke Wilson is like a good sort of like
Yeah.
somewhat relatable everyman guy. Maya Rudolph, not really great casting on that. I mean, I like her a lot, but I just thought that she was a little big for that role. Which why did they have to make her a hooker? But
She wasn't big then. She had yet to. She was like in her early
yeah, she was.
Saturday Night Live years. Then she was not, Kamala
Mhm.
Harris. Kamala Harris. Um,
Yeah, she
but
was on the ascent versus whatever. But watch that movie again and then tell me how funny it is versus oh God.
yeah. Oh, yeah. God, I can only. Well, I can't imagine. I mean, it's. This is the president, President Sanchez, President something something. I mean, he
Terry
was.
Crews,
Yeah, Terry Crews. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Um, but I
Who did
forget
a
his.
great job.
Oh no, he's great. We've got.
I'll look it
Yeah.
up. We have
The movie, it's been so long. I used to have a series of quotes. I mean, electrolytes, plants crave it is still in there, obviously, but I used to have like a dozen lines from the movie that were just in my head that I would be able to spit out back at you. I
oh
forget the name
I
of, of Owen
I
Wilson's
looked up.
character.
Oh yeah, I've gone ahead and looked it up for you because we have stringent fact checking and prep here.
That we
Terry
do.
Crews, yes, Terry Crews plays Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew Herbert Camacho, President of the United
President
States.
Camacho. President Camacho. Oh God.
Dwayne Elizondo Mountain Dew The thing with the logos all over the stuff they were wearing, that was pretty like, whoa, that
Yeah,
seems
no,
plausible.
yeah, yeah, I try not. My brain wants to take it down a political route and talk about how the current folks are, but I'm just. It's sort of like you get backed
Well,
into a
what have
corner
you
at this point with me. It's
Yeah.
what?
What have you been watching? What has been something you tell me something you've enjoyed recently? A
Oh,
long
you know
walk?
what I'm really enjoying is on what?
Taking a long walk with a friend?
Oh, yes. Sorry, I thought you said Baba Wawa. I'm like Baba Wawa. Anyway, there. Anyway, thing I'm enjoying is on Netflix. It's making the band, building the band, making the band, something like that. And
Oh, I haven't heard
it's
of it.
a yeah, it's an American Idol type show, but it starts off much differently. Where every single contestant, all of them have some level of skill. There are no contestants who don't know what they're doing at all. Anyway, they all start in their own box and they do a performance, but all the other people in the box don't get to see what they look like, and they try to choose each other to be in a band with them based on just the performance that they hear. And so these bands get formed, like 6 bands get formed, and then they all compete against each other. I'm only about halfway through. Really good show, and really enjoying it. Really talented singers, and Liam Payne from One Direction is there. One of the Backstreet Boys is
Oh,
there. One
yeah.
of yeah. Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child is there. It's a bunch of good ones. So it's a good show. I'm enjoying it. It's sorry to just derail the other discussion on idiocracy. I mean, my take on
It
that
had
is
spun out. It had spun out.
yeah. Well, that's where we're headed. That's what we're literally like. There much more early than I even thought we were. I think in idiocracy, the society starts to go to hell, and it's like 2200, the year 2500, or something like that. I think that movie was done by Matt Judge, the same guy who did
Mike Judge, yeah.
Mike Judge, who did Beavis and Butthead. So that's the same guy who did Beavis and Butthead, and Get timeless, classic, excellent.
But
Unfortunately, we're at,
yeah,
and we voted in the people who are the perfect example of it. So anyway, but yes, making the band or building the band, whatever, it's on Netflix. That's the one I'm
something
enjoying.
the band on Netflix, guys.
Something
Something
the
the band.
band on Netflix, starring that guy from that one band and her from the other thing. All right, what are you
And
watching, Ann?
yes. Well, I'm gonna check it out. It sounds good.
That's fun.
I personally, yeah, it sounds like a delight. Um, I got into this last
Much like those
weekend.
tacos at 1 a.m. that time.
Yeah, they were a delight, weren't they? We've been
They
talking
were-
about those for 10 years. Yeah.
It's a delight, yeah.
Um, uh, I guess we should tell them the story. It was late night, and I don't
It was
know
in
if
front of your house where you used to live, not the one over in by Folsom, but uh, but the one over in
Pack
Soma.
Heights.
Nope,
No,
not Sac, but
The Soma one, the
the
Brannon.
Soma
Yeah.
one. Yeah, it was. They had tacos out in front of Bar Basic, I believe, and we they were a delight. Yeah, at 1
And
a.m.
we were like drunk and hungry, and I was like, oh, it's a
Yeah,
delight.
it's a delight. Yeah,
And I meant it in that moment so hard because
yeah.
we obviously needed to eat. But so the show that I got into and didn't expect to was actually a Netflix. I know I don't bend that. I'm not that, I don't have that range of motion, which is maybe why I should be replaced by a robot. But the show is called Wayward on Netflix, and it
Oh,
stars Tony Collette as basically a cult leader, which really is a good thing for her. Tony Collette, cult leader.
hmm.
There's this school for
And
children who
one of the
misbehave.
best actresses alive today, Tony Collette.
Yeah, Tony Collette has range for sure, but her as a cult leader, like a new
Oh yeah.
agey cult leader, perfect. So the
Hmm.
casting was really, really good on this one, and a lot of interesting characters, compelling, rich. There's, a school where these teens get kind of put, and they all want to break out because they don't like the stuff, but then there's something hinky going on. I won't spoil it. There's a very heavy
Inky.
LGBTQ, yes, a very heavy LGBTQ plot line that is not
Oh,
like a just for the sake of it, like a true actual leading story about it in this relationship, and so very compelling. Um,
guys, girls, both.
uh, uh, a woman and her transgender husband,
Oh wow.
and just
Okay.
sort of really went for it in terms of heart and just sort of that
Nice.
teen angst,
Ooh,
you
I love
know,
it. I love the teen
reminded
angst.
me, yeah, it reminded me of what it is to be young and all you want to do is defy authority,
Oh yeah.
but like I said, it
Try to
wasn't.
shy away from people making fun of me. But yeah, other than that, that was my
Well,
child.
yeah, the trauma came with it for sure.
Yeah.
But what was interesting though was that it just sort of like they were just characters. It wasn't about them being transgender or being a couple or having a baby or like it was about their lives. And so I like that. I hate it when a show is like a normal sitcom or whatever, and then here's the gay friend. Oh, there's the wheelchair friend. Oh, there's like you can tell they're
Right.
checking a box versus like an actual story of things that And so
Well,
I
we're
thought
more
they did a
sophisticated now, and we can see that now. I mean, once upon a time, it was needed. Once upon a time, you had to just put somebody in there like that
well,
because you
just
lived.
to remind people that this is how the world is. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. But this didn't feel like that to me. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
okay. And part of that was Tony Collette and how she was such a main focus of the show, but then there were a lot of other people allowed to shine. So I did not expect to get into it, but I really did.
Right. Yeah, I saw the promo for it on Netflix. As you know, when you go to Netflix, they like show all the stuff that's possible for you to look at, and you hover over something for too long, it'll start to play a scene from it. And that happened to me the other day. Um, and yeah, it looked interesting. They're really sort of like showing you that this is a home for kids or whatever that are wayward or whatever, and but there's violence and humor and weird food that they eat in a cafeteria and stuff like that. But
The
yeah,
food's always weird. Yeah.
yeah, it's like meatloaf and some brown substance, and yeah, But yeah,
Cocaine.
which is what that artist behind you was using when he created that or she created that. Or they created that.
There's this song that my brother was singing when we were visiting family that has a very loud chorus with cocaine, country dancing with you. And it was in my head for
It
like,
wasn't the Eric Clapton song. No, it wasn't.
no, no, I have
Okay.
to look up the artist so you can look it up, audience, because I know you're going to. Paul
Yes.
Cawthon, cocaine country dancing.
Oh,
But like we'd be waking up in the morning, smelling the breakfast. I smell eggs
I
and
thought you
bacon
were going
and
to say we've been
coffee.
waking up
Nice.
in the morning smelling the cocaine.
No, we're like no, God no. But we're like smelling the breakfast smells, and then you hear cocaine, country dancing. Like the chorus is just so like
This is the content.
like
This is the content we need.
yeah, exactly. And I was like, you know what? I'm not like I can't do a Diet Coke after 2 o'clock, so I'm
Yeah,
probably not going to do cocaine.
you shouldn't do
But
nerds at 3:30 p.m.
yeah, I'm not having a coffee after like 10 a.m. So I'm gonna just say like singing about cocaine, sure, let's do it.
Let's do it.
And it's such an earworm in the best way because you're gonna find yourself like I'm gonna send it to you and it's gonna ruin your life
Bam,
for a
bam,
week.
bam, bam,
I'm Well,
cocaine.
then you're gonna play Eric Clapton and you're gonna see how soulless it is compared to this.
I
I know
love it.
that song and I like Eric Clapton as an artist, but this is like a
As an
loving
artist.
update to yeah, this is a loving update musically to cocaine.
Ah, okay. Well, I can't wait to check it out. I'll do that
Past
in
the
you know.
point, we're not doing actual drugs in our lives at this point, so we need to sing about
We're vicariously living through the
them.
the 20-year-olds who can do whatever they want with their livers because those livers have not been
Oh
thoroughly.
my God, that's something else you just reminded me. Thank you for bringing
Yeah.
up Gen Z. I honestly think we need to keep tabs on them, and I wonder if they're
Yes.
okay. So I read all kinds of newsletters to keep up on the stuff, and one of them covers, a lot of Gen Z. And so the story this week that really caught my attention, I think I sent you, is that there is a whimsy deficit in the world. There's not enough whimsy. And I agree with that 1,000%. And like, where are the yarn bombings? Where are the people that are like doing the fun random stuff that's like, oh, here's art, like this thing here?
Those
Like,
got those went away during the pandemic and haven't come back yet, or
yeah,
have.
so exactly. So there's been a noted deficit of whimsy. However, Gen Z has chosen to fill this in with magicians. They hire magicians at events. I don't know if this is actually true, but this blew my mind that Gen Z likes magic and magicians. I don't know how this relates or doesn't relate to Etsy witches, which is another topic I'm very
Etsy witches?
fascinated by.
Good
Oh,
lord!
yeah, you can hire yourself a Etsy witch, which, I mean,
Oh
if that's money that you're getting, good for you.
yeah,
I bought
that's another political thing that I don't want to bring up, and I'm not going to. But yeah, it's
Etsy witches are so political. Yeah, no, Etsy witches, I think what a great market for you, lady, lady witch.
I love that idea.
They
Yeah, no,
have custom spells. They can manifest for you. They can help you break. I have the Etsy app because I have a problem. Uh,
no, you have a hobby, you know.
yes. Well, if I'm gonna buy like a dog poop bag or a leash or something, I would rather buy it from Etsy and get some like like, hey, I'm a lady in Dallas and I made this thing for your dog poop bags. Like, I'd rather buy it from her than overseas.
No, for sure. We've got to start picking and choosing where we get things from. Like I'm using Snapchat and I'm using Blue Sky more than anything else because they have the least amount of connections to the. Oh darn it! I just went political again. So let me see.
I'm gonna buy you this nice Etsy witch to give you a detailed reading. So, but to cap it off, and then I want to
Yes.
turn it back to you. I like that someone identified that there's not enough whimsy in the world, which I 100% agree with, and I think you do too. But that hiring magicians is the answer to that is so off-putting to me for some reason, because I don't think magicians are ever the answer to any problem. But I like that that's where they took it, because I very much worry about Gen Z and are they okay? Because sorry guys, you got like a real trash can situation for your lives.
I appreciate Gen,
So
I appreciate Gen Z because they uh, can be pretty nice. Some of them are pretty nice. They like, and there are various reasons. I have various reasons why. They're the typical Boitnot reasons, like Gen Z isn't as mean to Madonna. Gen Z will actually pay attention to shit that comes out of my mouth, what I have to say about whatever it might be, and think that I'm like worth being around. So it's nice to have a new generation that isn't, like isn't the same as the one that came before, and then they look at you and they're sort of
yeah,
like, "Oh, you're interesting." So that's nice, and so that's why I like Gen Z. I know they're not perfect. They're make some dumb decisions recently, but whatever. Overall, I'm happy about Gen Z. What am I doing tonight? I'm going to watch
I
Peace.
like their baggy. I like their baggy pants. They brought the baggy athletic
They
pants
brought baggy
back.
pants back. Very good. Skinny
Thank you guys.
pants, stupid. Not a fan of skinny pants.
I mean,
Skinny
I have
pants.
great legs, so I like skinny pants. But
Yeah. Well,
you do
maybe they
you.
work for ladies, but and I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of them on
Oh,
guys.
that's
Whatever. I like
right.
baggy pants more. I like somewhere in
Okay,
between too. Anyway,
give a man
let,
some
let,
room. Give a man some room for his junk.
right? Yeah. So anyway, I think you raised a good point about Gen Z. I'm a big fan. Tonight, I'm going to watch Peacemaker on HBO. There's a 49er game.
Ooh.
They're going to, good luck to them. They're playing the Rams. The Rams are a very good team. And other than that, I'm going to probably go to bed at like 10:30 p.m. I've been trying to go to bed earlier. I usually don't fall asleep till like 11:30, and then it's like a bunch of like on again, off again insomnia. So anyway, that's what's going on with me.
It sounds like a great evening. Yeah, I am definitely walking those dogs. I was supposed to see him. I keep my friend and I for like 3 weeks have been trying to see Downton Abbey in the theater,
Oh, I'd love to
and
see that. That would be good.
I
Yeah.
finally said to her like, maybe we don't want to see this because we keep kicking the can down the road.
Ah,
And we
gotcha.
go, yeah, and I've got the Alamo Pass, so like I
Yeah.
love it. I can take a friend and we could go share popcorn, and I take Often Bell, and I will say the best movie I think I've seen this year, close second is Naked Gun because I love that movie.
Ooh, I still need to
Even
see.
though Liam and Pam being a fake couple, I'm still not over that emotionally. The
They're a
damage.
fake couple.
They were the leading lady and man in the movie, and everybody thought they
Yeah.
were romantically linked, and then it came out later that they were not. That they had done that for the movie promo.
Wow, I didn't know that. But that is disappointing. Jeez, what a disappointment.
I
God.
bought a People magazine for my trip at that point to read and pour over their love affair because I was so happy for both of them. Because he had had his heart broken by the tragic passing of his wife. She had decided to marry Tommy Lee because that made sense at the time, and obviously had a bunch of man trouble. She also married Kid Rock. Like, girlfriend has had some problems.
Yeah.
So, like, her getting that nice, stable guy was like the dream that everyone wanted for them both. And so when they
Mm.
shattered it for me, I felt very personally affected. Anyway, I'm glad that we've reopened that trauma. But the movie I want you to go see, everybody watching this, One Battle After Another.
Oh, yeah.
It's the Paul Thomas Anderson movie. He's the director. Is Leonardo DiCaprio. Benicio del Toro is plays Sensei Bob. Does this? I mean, like, so fantastic. It's a long movie, so just
Yeah.
know that you're gonna have to probably get up and do a little peapot in the middle, but tinkaroo. But know that it's worth it. Really compelling, like today themes in it that thoughtfully are laced in. I cannot. I feel like I'm like a hype man for this movie, but I honestly went into it going, I don't know, but like I really, really enjoyed it. Leonardo DiCaprio as a washed up stoner dad who was an activist in his younger life is like the role he was meant to play.
let's wind it down before we hit 40 minutes on the show. But yeah, I saw half of the film. I'm going to explain that to you after we get off the air. So
Oh, a private story.
yeah, it's whatever. Yeah.
Look, we can't tell you guys everything. You're the internet. You might turn
Exactly.
on us.
Anything that we want to mention as we wrap up episode 25?
I can't believe we've done anything 25 times with this much
Wow,
passion and vigor. We have
it's
discussed,
been 25 of them. That's a lot.
I know, and I think we have discussed having, we're going to potentially have some guests. We just,
Yeah,
have to put them through the rigorous testing and standards that we follow here at Computer AF.
much like our fact
And
checking.
yes, exactly. And commit to maybe, I don't know, a set time for them to be able to show up. I feel like we should have Francisco on because we've talked about him.
We could
Uh,
try. He's
or
not. He's more of a cat.
he's
He's more of a
he's a
behind. Yeah, he's less of a
yeah.
dog, more of a cat. I mean, I'll try, but he'll say no. I know he's
Yes.
not.
Well, thank you everybody for watching 25 episodes, even if it's just you, Mom. We know that you're
Love you, Georgina Trim.
yes, we know that you're our number one fan, and I want to say Computer AF is endorsed by my mom. She says it's a pretty cool show.
Yeah,
She
she
likes all
likes
the
all
smiling
that.
and laughing.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. We have a good time with each other, and except for the. Thanks, everyone. Great to have you for Computer AF number 25. See you soon.
Toodles.